Okay, welcome to A Salt and Buttery with intent to satisfy. Today we are making a barbecue sauce. I know it's really easy to go out and buy one. This is a very simple recipe that lends itself a lot to experimentation and individualization. So this is what I use, and I've made a couple changes because since the weather's getting colder, it's not as pleasant to get out there and barbecue, so I don't get the smokiness that I want into the food when I'm barbecuing. So this is what I called the urban barbecue, because this is if you don't have a grill and you don't have the access to a grill or the wood to get that smoky flavor, this will give it to you. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to heat up our pan. We already have some oil in there. And we're going to add some onion, some nicely chopped up onion. We don't want to lose any of that onion. We have to chop it up. Onions make me cry, so I'd hate to waste any of them. Okay. And some garlic. And once again, with the garlic, you can use the stuff that's already chopped up. It won't hurt anything. But what we want to do is we want to cook this until they're nice and soft. Okay? Because if we don't cook it until they're nice and soft, then what we'll end up with is chunks of onion in our barbecue sauce. If you happen to like chunky barbecue sauce, then skip this step. Okay, and go ahead and have the chunks of the onion and the more raw onion flavor. This actually tones down the onion flavor a little bit while still giving you the flavor without the harshness. And you don't want to use a sweet onion for this unless that's what you prefer. Honestly, I just use regular old onions and have a go. Because I'm cooking them, the flavor tastes really good. Like I said, this is a pretty basic recipe. It's a little bit complicated because of some of the ingredients sometimes, but we'll talk through that and we'll get it so that you're comfortable and you can experiment with this and take it to where you want it to go. So as you can see, the onions are starting to change color, so they're getting closer to what I want them to be. I don't want to burn them, and I don't want to caramelize them. Okay, caramelizing is a totally different thing. And I'm going to be using this for the chicken that I'm going to be brining in the brine that we made a little bit earlier. So life is good. And this way you can enjoy the really good barbecue flavor, the smokiness of it, without having to do the smoking, without having to use a grill in case you're in a situation where, for whatever reason, you can't. Or it's just too cold, or it's raining, and you really want some barbecue. Now, the onion is just about perfect for me, okay? I don't like it totally cooked down to total softness. I still like a little bit of texture. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the Worcestershire sauce. You know, the stuff that hardly anyone can pronounce the name of. Okay. Cider vinegar. Brown sugar. Now, at this point, you can use either light or dark brown sugar. A darker brown sugar will give you more of a molassesy flavor in this. Okay. Then we're going to add some dry mustard. Okay, dry mustard is not the same as prepared mustard. It's not the same as the stuff that you put on your hot dogs, okay? Dry mustard is a yellow powder, and you can substitute the prepared mustard for the dry mustard, but it's a little bit tricky and you don't get quite the same results. If you can, I recommend keeping with the dry mustard. Okay, some paprika. Now, I like to use smoked paprika in almost everything that I make because it gives a wonderful hint of smokiness to it without being overpowering. Some cayenne. Now, the cayenne you can substitute out for whatever or however hot you like it or however mild you like it. You can reduce the amount of the cayenne if you want a milder. You can increase it. You can use a different kind of dried ground up pepper, depending on what you want, and some salt. Now, once again, do not use iodized salt. Either use kosher salt or non-iodized sea salt. Okay, that gives the best results for me, unless you happen to prefer the flavor of the iodized salt. If that's what you like, do that. Once again, this lends itself to individualization, so you can make it however you want it. And some tomato sauce, because even though this has a vinegar to it, it really is a tomato based. Now at this point, you can, if you wish to, you can substitute the tomato sauce for some ketchup. It'll come out a little bit sweeter that way, but if that's what you prefer, that's what you should do. Okay, no judgment here on that. I'll judge you for other things, ha ha ha. Not really, but for this, no. It's all a matter of individual taste. Now comes the trick. Because, like I said, I would normally prefer to prepare my barbecue chicken on the grill and actually use some smoke for it and everything else, but because of the weather, I still could, but it wouldn't be as much fun. So I got a hold of some pretty good quality liquid smoke. Now, this is once again an entirely a matter of personal taste, but I throw a little bit of liquid smoke in there, and then we just bring this to a nice little simmer. Do not let it simmer for more than 15 minutes. If you do, you're going to start getting a burned taste, which I don't know anyone who would actually find that pleasant, but once again, individual taste. Now we're just going to let this simmer, and as you can see, it's already starting to. Okay, we're starting to get those bubbles around the edges, so it's just barely starting to simmer. Okay. Now we're going to let this go, and like I said, not more than 15 minutes. Then we're going to let this cool, and then it will be ready to use as, I've used this as a marinade, okay? Because the nice thing is with the vinegar in it, it actually helps start breaking down some of the meat a little bit, and makes it a little softer. So it works pretty good as a marinade. And in all honesty, what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be slathering this all over my chicken and cooking it. But that is how you make a really simple barbecue sauce. Okay, with a couple of variations. So, go ahead, give this a try. If you prefer the more molassesy flavor of the dark brown sugar, go ahead and use that. If you don't, then use the light brown sugar, so it's a little bit more subtle. If you really dislike that flavor, then go ahead and substitute for some white sugar. Okay. You can change the amount of heat with this depending on what you use, how much and what type of dried hot pepper you use. Like I said, I just use some cayenne. It's easiest for me, and gives me the right level of heat. So here we are, and that is what I wanted to see. Now I turn down the heat and let it simmer for no more than 15 minutes. And now you have your own barbecue sauce. Highly individualized, perfect for your taste. Let me know how this goes, and if you come up with a really good variant on this, oh, please let me know. I love good recipes. So, once again, this is a salt and buttery with intent to satisfy, and thank you.